Uh, Welcome back to Football Match Daily. Today we're going to tactically analyze the Premier League game between Chelsea and Man City. This is our pre-match tactical analysis from the game. Ayush, let's start with Chelsea.
Yes, Philip. Just all right. So Chelsea played Tottenham last, a big game for them, and City next week. So we can already see that Chelsea is stuck between tough fixtures right now. We won against Tottenham easily, but I wouldn't say that we won by we can see a big margin, but that's not the game really went. The first half started with Tottenham absolutely attacking all the time, and Chelsea were just playing on counters, and Tottenham were really good, but they couldn't convert. But it was all Tottenham for the first 20 to 25 minutes at least. And in fact, I would say they were a tad bit unlucky to not get a goal. But it's Chelsea's defense which really stopped them. And then second half, Tuchel totally changed it around. He introduced Kante into the lineup, and well, he is Kante. We scored two goals. One was by Kante. Granted, it was a deflected effort, but hey, whatever.
So moving into this big game, you're going to be playing. You're going to have a midweek fixture in the Carabao Cup, and you've got the Champions League to look forward to next week. What changes would you expect going into the Man City game in the lineup?
So we play Aston Villa tonight, and I expect that some major names will be out of the lineup. And I expect a full strength lineup for Manchester City because we can't afford to lose this game. UCL group stage is still okay because you get more chances. Premier League, you can't do that against a team like Manchester City. So I am expecting Kepa to start obviously because Tuchel has announced that Mendy is against time for the City game. He'll definitely be out for today's game. So Kepa stays, and in defense, maybe Reece James comes back to the right wing back, and Aspilicueta shifts to the right center back. Kante played 45 minutes, so he's kind of fit right now. So I would expect him to start over Kovacic, maybe even Jorginho, but probably Kovacic. And I would like it if the attack stays pretty much the same.
We saw Mount miss quite a few chances. Mount and Havertz both being quite poor against Spurs. I mean, would Tuchel risk that against a much more clinical Man City?
Actually, our other options aren't much more clinical, anyways, because we have Timo Werner and Pulisic, who's always injured nowadays. And the only other realistic option is Ziyech, to be honest. Maybe he introduces Ziyech in place of Havertz or Mount. But this would be my favorable because that was one bad game. They have been good pretty much in all the other games. And I think Chelsea is starting to depend on Lukaku for all the attacks. And we really need to stay independent of Lukaku. We can't do that. We did that with Hazard. And as soon as he left, we were in shambles.
So what you're saying is that there's going to be two changes in your opinion. Christensen gives place
Two, three max.
to
Three,
Reece
maybe.
James,
Yeah. Christensen gives his place to
and
Reece James. And maybe Kovacic or
Kovacic.
Jorginho give their place to Conte. Maybe one more change
Okay,
between Havertz or Mount, but Lukaku definitely has to start. I think that's pretty much a confirmed place. Chilwell is not getting much play time, so I expect him to start today, in fact, against Aston Villa. So Alonso comes back in left back.
okay. Moving on to Man City. Their last Premier League game, in fact, was a surprise 0-0 draw against Southampton. So that really makes Pep think on his feet here for the Chelsea game, because midweek they kind of hammered Wycombe Wanderers 6-1, but that was in the presence of a few key players such as Phil Foden, and then you had Kevin De Bruyne make an appearance in that game too. So I don't really know what the thinking behind that went, but I think now it's quite clear that Kevin De Bruyne is fit to start against Chelsea, because Chelsea, as we know at the moment, are the table toppers and the team to beat at the moment. So the back line, I'd say maybe Ake does not start against Chelsea. I think I'd probably see John Stone start if he's fit. Otherwise, probably Laporte.
Even
The
Laporte has
mid
started
the
many games, so probably Laporte.
Laporte too, yeah. Then But see that again, Pep Guardiola has a lot of options to choose from for the centre back option. The only cemented player in his back line is Ruben Diaz, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Uh, to swap things out, he might even swap out Cancelo for Zinchenko, but then I probably don't think he's going to do that because Cancelo, as we all know, provides a lot of flexibility to that
To
Man
be
City
honest,
backline.
he did exactly that last time we played them. So I wouldn't be surprised. Who knows?
You wouldn't, to be honest. That was a Champions League final, and this was the Premier League. I think
Yeah. So
Man City, the Premier League is more Man City's tea, I'd say.
okay. Yeah, definitely.
Uh, Moving on to the midfield three, I'd say only Bernardo Silva gives way to Kevin De Bruyne. Otherwise, I'd probably think that Gundogan, maybe even Rodri starts over Fernandinho
But
because
yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin De Bruyne has not started until now, and I would be surprised if he start.
he started the Champions League game
Yeah,
against
in the Premier
Leipzig.
League. So would Pep risk it and bring him on, give him his season debut against Chelsea?
To be honest, he might not. But then De Bruyne is the kind of player who does not need that kind of a time to settle in because we all know what he is capable of with or
Definitely.
without the time played. Um,
I think
but the front line,
the real concern is
okay,
the
continue.
striker position. Who plays at the strike?
I mean, you saw Sterling come on at strike against Southampton, which came off as a bit of a surprise because it seemed like Gabriel Jesus now being played as a winger. I mean, Ferran Torres would become more of the central main striker, but maybe him giving way to Raheem Sterling was Pep's way of mixing things up. The Pep roulette, as
Yeah,
almost we all are familiar with that term now. But I mean, Sterling hasn't been clinical lately for the last 6 odd months,
I
and
would
you
say
can
for the
see
last whole
that
season. Like he was good in the Euros, but then again it just came back to his old form.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, his lack of finishing well reflects the scoreline of this particular Premier League game as well. So the lack of option really hurts Man City at the moment, but I'd say Ferran Torres gets the benefit of the doubt, and he starts against Chelsea.
Many people were
So that would
many people were actually expecting Manchester City to do well even without a striker because they did do that in last year. They played without a striker, and they maybe Kevin De Bruyne starts as a false nine like last year, and Bernardo Silva gets his place back. I would rather do that, to be honest, than play Sterling or anyone else.
Kevin De Bruyne starts as the false nine, and probably Phil Foden comes in the midfield,
Yeah,
not Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva already played, so I was like, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, Foden would be a better
Again,
option actually.
yeah. So depends again. It depends on Pep's tactics. But if you stick to his staple 4-3-3 that he's played thus far this season, then I'd say you play with a striker as Ferran Torres. But I think he's still waiting for that false nine role because De Bruyne has been out injured.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only reason why he's waited so long to play that strikerless formation that he perfected last season. But if De Bruyne is 100% fit to start, then I think he reverts back to that. Who knows? But then again, starting a new formation against Chelsea that are first in the league right now is again
Yeah.
a huge gamble. So you never know.
Manchester
Moving
City
on, I
will
think,
be Manchester City will
yeah,
totally play a full possession game, and Chelsea just plays on counters. Chelsea doesn't really have that sort of possession. Even against Tottenham, if you see, Chelsea only has 53% of possession against a team like Tottenham, against Nuno's team, who is known for playing on counter attacks. So Chelsea is just going to counter attack, and City will keep rotating the ball among themselves. Is what I'm expecting from this game, and I really
I
expect
mean,
Chelsea to win. I don't care if it's tough fixtures and all. They get the break. They get the Carabao Cup break in the middle. They could have rested Lukaku again in the Zenit game, but Chelsea needs to win this game.
um, see, you see Man City, you expect them to be a full possession based game, and I think everyone knows that they will I mean, I think they start the attack, but then moving on when Chelsea start countering, they revert to holding the ball back with them. So I think that's the way the game is going to be played. Obviously, both the midfields is going to be crucial. So I think at the end of the day, it depends if Tuchel plays the higher Alonso and Reece James to join in the midfield to outnumber City's midfield, or if maybe the same backline as that started the Spurs game starts again to maybe hold the counters back off. So that's something to look out for from the game, because uh, Tuchel has that decision to make whether he wants to outnumber City's midfielders or if he wants to 100% eliminate their counters. What would you wish for?
I would wish if Tuchel goes for the attack, because I have seen Chelsea defense very well, but City also attacks very well. And maybe Sterling will miss chances, but Grealish will create a lot more than Sterling will miss. So I would want Chelsea to attack properly with James and Alonso coming up front and joining the midfield, so that they can outnumber the three in the middle. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we need to go defensively.
No, because even the one goal you've conceded in that game, the Liverpool game, obviously I'm talking about, that was a game that your defense got you the point there,
Yeah,
because I
exactly.
don't see any other way you could have gone. I mean, you would have come back with a point.
I don't
So
like to say
this
this,
is
but
just
yeah,
another.
going against Liverpool at Anfield was tough with 10 men. And the other defenders, Thiago Silva and the other different Rudiger mainly really stepped up with the whole Reece James disappearance as well.
He did, and that's what I'd expect Tuchel to count on. Wouldn't he want to stick to his proven defense that he knows that Liverpool at Anfield couldn't break? Wouldn't
Yeah,
he
so
want to
that
stick
was
to
Reece James
that
and
defense?
Azpilicueta. That's exactly what I am expecting them to go for City. So
Right.
what is your prediction?
So And it's a tough game to predict, because we know that while City have been dominant in the Champions League and the Carabao Cup so far, they haven't really turned up in the Premier League, except for those two 5-0 wins, I'm sorry, against Arsenal and Norwich. They haven't really been the team. So, but whereas Chelsea, they have been the team so far, because I mean, you expect them that from European champions in general to step up their game from last season. And Chelsea, to be honest, have uh, not conceded too many. They've just conceded that one. Now they haven't conceded from open play yet. So that is the one thing to watch out for. If it's Kevin De Bruyne and his set pieces that help City get the points, or Chelsea versus City.
So you give me a score line.
1-1.
1-1. I would always obviously want Chelsea to win, and I expect that from them, because we have been really good, and a sudden drop against Manchester City would really be heartbreaking. So a small win, a 1-0 win for Chelsea for me.
So you're expecting your defense to get you that win, or your attack?
Always defense for Chelsea right now, because our attack will score just one goal, and defense will play the whole game. Our attack will just convert one or two goals, because Chelsea, they have been good, but we don't really score big. We have scored max 3 goals this season, whereas City are scoring five against Arsenal and Norwich. Chelsea scored two or three. So I expect the defense to take us out for the whole season, in fact. So our
And
if we want
what
to win, our defense needs to remain the way it is, needs to play the way it is playing right now.
and how would you address that key duel between Ruben Diaz and Romelu Lukaku?
I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. I was worried about it against Van Dijk, but for Diaz, I'm not that worried, to be honest. I don't really rate Diaz. We have seen that in the past videos. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that.
Wow. So those are our predictions, our tactical analysis pre-game. We'll be back after the video. I mean, after the game's over, we'll be back to see how well or how poor we've performed in our predictions and what we've said. But thank you for watching if you've watched this far. And consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you liked our content. We're trying something new here. And thank you for watching. We're Football Match Daily.